and you start making $3,000 after, let's say, 6 months, $3,000 a month after 6 months of starting a gig, starting a venture. Now you're making $6,000. You're netting $6,000. Why wouldn't you take that $3,000 you're making from your job and plow it into your business, or plow it into, part of it into investments, or part of it into, a college fund or whatever? Making double your income is awesome. I mean, how much better would you feel if you were making that much more in your ventures?
Well, that comes with a huge warning of don't upgrade your lifestyle to match your new income, because you'll never be able to lose that, lose that job.
Don't go buy that new Cadillac, because that's all your money's just went poof.
The fastest way to get out of the job in that scenario is to take a quarter of your excess income and put it aside to start building a cushion, and take the other 3/4 of it and put it right back into your side gig to scale it faster.
Yep.
Get the technology that you need, get your systems in place, get yourself more reach, more expansion, the ability to reach more customers profitably. And
part of that is right up both of your guys' alley, which is advertise.
Which is why I chose going into that. It's an area that I personally struggled with for a long time, and it led me to having difficulties in a lot of the side gigs that I chose along my journey, kind of getting started in the space. I had to learn a lot of hard lessons when I look back, and, the last 10 or 15 or 20 things that I tried failed for the same reason. It's a sign, right?
Yeah.
You hit a certain point where you can't grow any further comfortably without some type of an outreach strategy. And you can learn new skills. There's, attraction marketing and, other ways to be able to do that without plowing a ton of money into it. But putting money into it and taking out ads is certainly the fastest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Provided somebody knows what they're doing.
Right.
That's also helpful, right? Somebody who can actually steer the boat.
If you don't know what you're doing with it, it's a great way to just lose a ton of money. But
but that segues into kind of what we're doing here. And one of the other things that we want you to take away from this, if it hasn't been mentioned already, is, we're 3 experienced people who have been doing this for a very long time. We've had a lot of successes and a lot of failures, certainly more failures in my case than successes, but still, nevertheless, I kind of fancy myself as a fairly good baseball player. I hit 3 out of 10. You fell 7 times. That's awesome. That's actually awesome. But a key takeaway is watch what we do and listen to what we say, but watch what we do, and you can use us as a model for getting to the point where you want to get. And we're going to share a whole lot of stuff. We're going to be an open book, and we want you to be able to be successful in the thing or things you choose by using our model to, do the planning, the brainstorming, the implementation, the content syndication, all of the stuff that we're doing, the YouTube videos, the live streams, the Zoom meetings, the website, all of that stuff. If you look at the website, just go there for a model on how to set up a website for conversions, for getting people to join your mailing list or joining your group, that kind of thing. And we're just starting out. So you're going to get to see our successes and failures with this venture live. You're going to get to see it live as it happens. And tacking onto that, you can ask these two. They'll tell you. An hour and a half ago, I was pulling out my hair because I couldn't get the live stream to work, even though it worked yesterday and the day before. Something went haywire on my end, I think. And it could have been my end, I think. But, an hour or so ago, we got it together and we put this thing together. And I think it's, at least from a presentation standpoint, it looks pretty damn good. And the video quality is good. The audio quality seems to be good. But it was kind of, I was this close to saying we gotta pull the plug and not do this. So,
well, and you know, we were ready to go with 2 minutes to spare, I think was the official timeline here. So it really reinforces the point. You know, we're using a tool of technology right now to expand our reach and to be able to collaborate and things like that. But if Bill didn't have his fundamentals down, his foundation, he didn't have those skills built and comfortable to the point he could do them in his sleep, being flustered like that with the technology, this would be a train wreck.
I was going to say, and to tack onto that, something that I have experienced just, I feel like I've re-experienced it, and I would really like to hit home on this. It's having those skills and experience, like putting in that time. So you have that, Bill, we were talking about it before, just the good old fashioned hard work. Like it's the experience you have when you experience hard work and that character building you hear about when your grandpa's just like, well, yeah, hard work, you builds character. And you're like, I don't know what that means. And then you experience that and you're like, all right. But more to the point, what I'm saying is that beyond that character building hard work is finding the right people to work with, those you know, like, and trust. My personal experience is just saying, hey, everybody, this is the thing that I've got, and just letting anybody and everybody just work with me. And that's not a good idea. I trust these guys. These guys I trust my business with, which is my life because I'm a super nerd like that. But to that end, it's not just the technology. There's a whole lot of factors, but we're talking about are some very important core factors. It was one of those things where I have been in Bill's place and there was no one around who gave a crap. And I still had to just slog through and build some more character through hard work. But it is really, really hard to come back from that. So to that end, finding people that you know, like, and trust to work with, that you trust with your ideas, and be able to move forward, because it is very hard to come back from that. I don't know if you guys want to add to any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly appreciate, I know you've experienced what I just experienced an hour and a half ago. I know you have. So we just got a comment saying comments are disabled. It's a Facebook bug. So I don't know what that means, but we'll try to figure it out, Shane.
Yep.
That's Shane, by the way. He's one of my favorite people on the internet. You got
one of mine too. I had just been checking him out. He seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, I mean, but again, that was technology. That's stuff's going to happen. Stuff's going to break. Stuff's not going to work right. It's going to, I'm actually experiencing this every day, multiple times with my kids. We're doing distance learning right now, and we're on Zoom calls 3 to 5 times a day with my various 4 kids. And I swear, so you all probably know Zoom had a security issue a few weeks ago, and where people were like somehow hijacking the meeting, getting in when they weren't invited, and showing like pornographic material to children.
All the horrible things you don't want to have happen. And
yeah. So Zoom's done their thing. School districts have like beefed up security, and they make you sign in a different way. And for the last 2 weeks, they've had a new policy on how you log in. And I swear, I log in to the one Zoom 5 or 6 times, and I don't do anything different the 5th or 6th time, but it's successful. I don't know how that works, but today, my kindergartner who's in school, his teacher came on and said, "Hey, Bill, we've worked with the district, and we're going to make this simpler. We're going to go back to the way it was just for kindergarten." And I'm like, okay, that's interesting, because today was the first day in the last 2 weeks where I was able to actually log in the way you told me, and it worked. That's how technology works. It's crazy. So don't let that bother you. Just, it's par for the course. When things go sideways, It's par for the course. That's why you try this stuff out before you go live like this. And that's not to say you're going to go live and things aren't going to go to hell in a handbasket. I've done the prep work before, and then I go to a live event and all of a sudden it doesn't work.
Well, I gotta say, like we've both been through this, but now I think the rest of society, whatever we see as mainstream, is seeing technology for what it is, because you and I have also been through the slog of like, well, it's technology, isn't it supposed to just work? And you're like, you haven't tried any of this, have you? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like from about 2006 ish, right about to about 2017, people were like, it should just work, and it was just this weird assumption that if it didn't work, it was the what do they call it? Error between keyboard and chair, which is user error, right? Like it was always the user error. Exactly. But now, because technology has become it has such a high adoption rate and has become so mainstream, everybody just turned on their meme machines and they're just like, yeah, technology is not as advertised. And so now we've gone through the frustration and now we've got all the jokes and stuff. One of my favorites is it's this show sucks, and it's like the boss is like, again, this is a Zoom call. But it was a really long time before everybody just sort of decided Zoom was the thing. There was all sorts of different pieces of technology, but now Zoom's the thing to the point where it's now a joke. But it's because we've all sort of come together in this high adoption rate of technology. And I just love it because it feels like, hey, all the friends have decided to join the sandbox that we've all been playing in for a very long time. It feels very welcoming, right?
Right. And what you're going to find is we're going to try to deliver to you the information you need and want through various ways. And that means through the website, through email, through the Facebook group, primarily the Facebook group, and with a little bit of email thrown in. But we're also going to deliver, live streams and webinars using different platforms. And the reason being, we haven't figured out what works best for you, and you haven't figured out what works best for you. And we want you to be able to communicate with us to tell us how you want to receive information. Right now, we're guessing. And if we see a lot of interaction in the Facebook group and nothing, within the emails we send, that tells us something. If we see people showing up on the live streams, but not on the webinars, that tells us something. So the key takeaway there is watch what's happening, record in your mind, take mental notes or take actual notes, look at your analytics, see what's working. And I don't want to get into analytics yet, but it's a key way that you can use technology to help you figure out what's working and what isn't. We'll get into that in a separate thing, but we're going to try different things, and you're going to be able to tell us which thing you like best, and that's probably where we'll go.
Now, I wanted to, if you guys are cool with me kind of steering this in a direction of what next, maybe, or maybe a potential point. But one of the things now that everybody's sort of come together in technology, I believe now that we actually kind of got to go back a little bit to the point of, and Bill, let me know if you see where I'm going with this. Start with the most basic piece, which is the domain.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. You started gig economics because you saw the power of the cerebral connection, right? Everybody sort of like everybody's heard a gig. They've heard, at least if they're in the group here, they've heard about the concept of the gig economy and they understand it to a point. Well, the reason for that is because we saw the breadcrumbs that were being left behind of the concept of gig economy. And if you can see those breadcrumbs before anybody else does, the smartest thing to do is scoop up that domain. Go to, not to GoDaddy. No one is a big fan of GoDaddy if you're a marketer, or if you're worth your salt at any point. But if you see the value of this collective consciousness, if you will, of everybody adopting this, and we're still at the to use an overused term, the ground level of that adoption rate. Everybody's jumping onto it, but we had to, like, those us old school marketers, if you even want to call us old school, because we're still talking about some pretty new stuff. But the beginning days of investing in a domain, the .com bubble and the .com burst and all those other kinds of things, that has already been accepted and acclimated. We've moved past that, but everybody understands what a domain is. No one really needs to be coached on that part yet. They've just accepted it, which means right now is another sort of digital gold rush of, like, okay, before, when people are like, well, what's a domain, and what's Google, and what's, like, you had to explain all that. No one has to explain that now. And so you can just say cooldomainname.com and everyone goes, oh, how much do you want for that? Or if nobody even understands that, if you just start building it, kind of like we have, right? Watch what we're doing. We saw the value of gigeconomics.com. We bought it, and now we're building on that value, but it's being built on an agreed collective mindset of, like, oh yeah, we understand what websites are and all that other kind of stuff. Now's the time. Now is the time, and it's one of the most basic building blocks of all of internet marketing. Anything to that, Callan or Bill?
And just the real value in that isn't even necessarily the website or the domain. Although there's some value in domains, we'd have to get deeper into that in a whole session about domains. It's a much wider topic than right now. But in general, the value of the domain that you buy is about the execution that's behind what happens with it. The content, how it's placed, how it's done, the audience that you attract, in the way you go about doing it is what really builds the value of that domain itself.
Right. And just to tack onto that, that there are people who are doing what we'd consider a gig or a venture that is nothing but they buy and sell domains. And you can think of it as you may have heard of the term arbitrage. You find a domain. A lot of people look for expired domains that have already built up the things that Callan just talked about. They have an audience, they have content, they have a good SEO profile, all that kind of stuff, and they gobble it up as soon as it's available, and then they flip it. They turn it around and sell it. Some people take that domain, that expired domain, buy it, build it up. Some people take that. Some people find domains that are doing well. Maybe they're earning a regular, consistent, steady income for the owner, and the owner just says, I'm done with this. It's just like any other business. I'm done with, I don't want to do the butcher shop anymore. Does somebody want to buy it? And you say, yeah, I want to buy that butcher shop.
Digital real estate.
Yeah. Domains are virtual real estate, and they're virtual businesses, right? And you can go in and make a deal. You can have a ready-made business, like everything's set up. The email sequence is set up. The cross sells, the upsells, everything's there. You just buy it. That's one way to do this. That's not the only way to earn an income, but that's one way. And one of the things we're going to talk about at length, and probably every time we talk, is going to be one or multiple ways in which you can, start driving some revenue towards your business or businesses. And we're going to have, subject matter experts on that will talk about those various topics, which leads to, do you want to make the announcement about the Friday show?
Yeah, I was drum roll. We're going to start doing weekly shows where we're going to talk about subject matters, but mostly focus on people who have bigger brains on topics that we're not as well versed on. But that's a part of the gig here at Gig Economics is no man is an island. We stand on the shoulder of giants, et cetera, et cetera. You can't necessarily do this alone. You start alone, but then I believe either through experience or through somebody wiser than you explains, you can't do it alone. You need to work with other people, and you need to find other people that you know, like, and trust. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing, is we're going to find people that we know, like, and trust to save you time so you don't have to go through similar difficulties as we did. And that's going to be the benefit of having a weekly show, so you know the shortcuts to go through, because honestly, why go through more difficulty than you have to, right?
Yeah, and so we're going to do weekly shows every Friday, and they're going to vary by topic, they're going to vary by format, they're going to vary by delivery until we get it dialed in and figure out what you want. But also, since we're marketers and this is a business, we are going to sell you things. Just I know. Sigh. We are going to sell you things, and that doesn't mean we're going to push things and these aren't going to be pitch fest. They're not. I hate those. We all hate them. But we will sell products as affiliates. So we may, for example, bring on the founder or the owner of, let's say, BeLive or Webinar Ninja, and they're going to tell us all about their product, how it can work for you, how best to use it. It's going to be a training. And at the very end, they're going to say, hey, if you want to sign up for this service, do that. And they're going to use our affiliate link. So if you wind up buying that product or service, we will get a small commission for that. You won't pay any more than anybody else. In fact, you might get a discount because we made a deal with these guys. But if you buy something, we may get a little chunk of change. Just being upfront.
Yeah.
And we're not going to sell you anything you don't want.
Yeah.
No,
like we said,
not. And the other thing that's very important is we're not gonna even recommend anything that we don't use ourselves, and in order to use it ourselves, we have to actually use it, pay for it, and we have to respect the service behind the product.
Yeah. Well, and to that end, it's one of those things we were to touch on a point that we talked about before. Don't just listen to what we say, watch what we do. Mm-hmm. And what we're doing is the thing that we recommend. We're figuring out how it works. We're learning by doing. We're teaching through example. And it's not always going to be 100% through these broadcasts. Again, I am a nerd who likes playing with video stuff. So is Callan. You'll probably see me pop up in the group and say, hey, I went through this thing and I learned it the hard way. So let me save you some time. Here's the tool that I'm using, et cetera, et cetera. But take note of what we're doing. We're taking what we're investing in and saying, this is something that you can benefit from, and we can benefit from it too if you invest with us, as long as we let you know. Yeah, we're like, it's an important thing also, for future reference. You got to tell people, if you're going to recommend a tool and you're going to get paid, you have to tell people, or you're not just going to get in trouble with your audience of just saying, hey, you're going to get paid with I wasn't told about that. The FCC is also going to be like, you didn't tell people about this. So that's a big thing you need to know. But as long as you understand that ahead of time, and you do that, let us save you some time. Do that ahead of time and let people know. Then you never have a problem, and you're always setting and then meeting that expectation, and that's all anybody ever wants. Nope, I just dropped stuff. My bad. Sorry.
Right. So that's all great stuff. We've got 4 minutes left. I want to share with you an invitation, and so I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. But I don't know why that didn't. See, technical issues. Hold on. Here we go. All right. So what we would like you to do, besides commenting on this video, on this broadcast, and telling us how you're watching it, whether it's live or the replay, because the replay will be available within 5 or 10 minutes of this broadcast ending. But we want to share our successes with you, our best practices, and all the experiences we've had with our own gig economy work. So what we'd like you to do is 2 things. Number 1, go to gig-economics.com, sign up for our newsletter. Like I mentioned before, that's one way we're going to be delivering content to you. The second way, the second primary way, is through our Facebook group. So if you're watching this, odds are you're in the Facebook group. But if you're watching this and you're not in the Facebook group, go to the website again, scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage, and you'll see a big giant button there that says join our Facebook group. And that's where we're going to share a lot of information. And I'm looking forward to this. I really want to help people out. We want to help people, start earning some income and with these gigs. And, I want to see successes, and I want you to share them with us too, because that will encourage other people to strike out on their own and do some of these things. What do you guys think?
Highest number of success rate,
Sorry,
from everywhere. The more successful that you guys become, the more successful we become. It really puts a lot of social proof behind not only what we're doing, but the theories and fundamentals behind where the economy is headed and what we see being the future of working on the internet.
Well said.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Zane?
I think my own text sort of stumbled on itself because it was quiet, and then I heard Callan. So sorry if I jumped in, but I didn't hear anything that Callan said. But to technology, etc. First of all, Mormo, dude, thank you so much for commenting. I love this guy. I hope someday we can meet and I can buy you a beer, because you seem like one of the coolest people. So again, thank you for being here and commenting. But more to the point of what we've been talking about, it really comes down to I believe we've moved past all of this, adopting technology, and now we're back into that human element. Work with people that you know, like, and trust. Find products that you like. Do things that you enjoy, because there are more and more products than you could possibly imagine. So don't feel like you have to work on a thing. You can actually find your passion. What the people, I don't know the exact phrase, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, find something that you connect with. Because if you didn't think you could do it before, you absolutely can now, and we're also here to help. Take that next step. Check out the group. Join the mailing list, because all we want to do is help you help yourself.
Right on. And I think part of the roadmap we've devised thus far includes some group coaching, as well as we'll probably set up some calendar time so that you can schedule some one-on-one or 1-on-3, whatever time with us, to kind of figure out what you need to do. So, we're here, you're here. Let's take advantage of this relationship, and just go out and join the group and join the newsletter, and we'll talk again real soon. Anything in closing, guys?
Welcome to Gig Economics.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Like I said, the replay should be up in a few minutes. If not, definitely tomorrow, because it's late everywhere but here. So, all right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.